Roll call.
Yes, sir. Mr. Elder, Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Mr. Bishop.
Yes.
Mr. Masterson.
Here.
Mr. Quell.
Here.
Have a quorum, Judge.
Thank you, Chad. First item on the agenda is consider approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held September the 7th, 2017.
Second.
Mr. Masterson.
Yes.
Mr. Bishop.
Yes.
Mr. Quell.
Yes.
Mr. Wicker. Unanimous.
The second item is the acceptance of sheriff's final excess fee payment to the county for fiscal year 2016, the amount of $5,552.76.
Motion to accept and thank you, Sheriff. Thank you. Second.
Mr. Masterson.
Here he is.
Mr. Bishop.
Yes.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Mr. Quell.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Really? Item number 3 is, I gotta sign that. Item number 3 is consider approval of fiscal year 2017, 2018 interscholastic athletic and extracurricular funding agreement with the Marion County Board of Education.
Have they sent us a thing?
It's in your packet, it should be, Jackie, number 3 there.
Motion. Yes.
Mr. Quell. Mr. Wicker.
Yes.
Mr. Masterson.
Yes.
Unanimous.
Jackie.
Why are we paying a custodian? Can you tell me that, Judge?
That's just what they submitted to us, Jackie. I don't, that's part of what the Little League programs, whenever the Board of Education uses those facilities, they're usually on a Saturday and a Sunday, and they're required to pay the janitors to do their jobs on the weekends, and I'm pretty sure that's what those fees are for.
It's half what the...
It is, yeah. The year before, they had looked at not being able to use the gyms at all. So, I mean, I guess it's better than not having a youth league program the way I look at it. It's, you know.
Yeah, I agree with Jackie. Yeah, we need to do that, but that really wasn't the intent of the $10,000. But if it takes that to make the thing work, I guess it needs to work.
I know 2 years ago they had an issue with not being able to use the gyms due to janitorial services, so that's what I take is what that is.
I guess they use a school gym, they gotta have somebody there.
You have to have a school board employee there. So
I know FFA's getting ready to approach them about that too, so.
It's
maybe they'll do
for
a
the
little bit different
kids.
this year. I think several of the different athletic groups are looking at submitting for it this year, so.
Item number 4, discussion of condition and action that needs to be taken concerning the columns at this building. Dave R. Hergen. A couple of weeks ago, if you walk out the front of the building, if you notice the columns, the bottom of the columns had gotten into one in particular had gotten a large gap at the bottom, and Stanley had contacted Larry Smith to come and take a look at them, and they were in the process of trying to, and Keith got involved also to figure out what the problem was. And when they were looking at the columns, they went to the top and put a little pressure on the top, and they moved. So we had Codell Construction, who was the contractor with the building, came down this past Monday morning and took a lot of pictures, and we actually even called Pogue Engineering, who was the engineering group, and they're going to give us a report on them as well. The back columns are not that bad yet, but they're in given time, I think they'll be as bad due to the way that they were installed.
So Codell's got some responsibility?
I don't know. I don't know the warranty, we've been looking through the manuals trying to figure out. They moved in this building in 2006, and we're in 2017, so we have a lot of other issues also in the building. I had some discussion or some proof back in 2006 where some things had been addressed and kind of they seen issues back before they even paid for the whole building. And it's just, I don't really know the answer but nothing was done. I do know that. And here we are in 2017, 11 years later, and honestly, we've got more than column issues, to be honest with you.
I feel like we need to hold their feet to the fire and try to get them to take care of some of the issues.
I was thinking, I might be wrong, but I was thinking there was some issues with them when they were putting them up.
They sent a bunch of columns here, and anyway, we didn't accept them.
Yeah, they were
And
bad.
they were bad. I forget what the problem was, I know they were bad.
Well, I know Jimmy brought a piece of one in, a couple months ago, and it was longer, yeah. I mean, they're one in particular out there, don't walk under it, please, but stay back, but you can look up there and see, and I've got some pictures of the top of those columns, and I'm not a masonry by any means, but I know that's not the proper way that they were installed. It's really, the workmanship is not good, to say the least. I mean,
Wasn't McNutt the
Did you have somebody
contractor,
else?
general contractor?
it was Codell is the company that
Codell was the construction manager.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So, I
Wasn't
mean,
McNutt the subcontractor on the deal?
I wasn't here, I
Yeah, they
Wasn't that right?
subbed it out.
Remember, McNutt was the subcontractor.
There was issues immediately with those columns up
That's
there
r-
when they was installed.
That's
I
right.
sent
I
Lisa some
remember.
things, some communication they had back years ago in 2006, matter of fact, that we had some, like say, some problems and actually withheld some of the money on the stonework. So,
Well, on a deal like that, is Codell ultimately responsible, or,
Probably a time frame or.
well, but if you've got stuff showing that you started this,
We gotta go back to Codell, and Codell go back to the,
Codell, we had an issue at the Judicial Center also the last Friday. We had the big rain. The whole back side of that building got wet inside. We had Paul Thomas in here all 4 days straight getting the carpet dried out. And they also, Codell was the contractor over there, and he came down, and all he really did for me was tell me who was the contractor at that time and told me to contact the roof people. So we've got to,
he's the one
the main
that
thing out front is those columns are not load bearing at all.
No, they just-
But they weigh 17,000 pounds apiece. So we have to get them either removed or what, I mean,
Or something
that's why I'm
done.
here tonight. What do you guys?
I would rather
what-
see them at least taken down if they're, of course, we've got it petitioned off out there, but should we just go on and just take them down so there's not a liability
Well-
if they fall and damage the existing building or
we
somewhere
are
else?
gonna try to deal with, hopefully to get something done.
better
If they've
leave
been
them
here and looked,
Yeah,
then I'm all for removing them. If they haven't been and looked, I think if you take them down, you waste your time talking to
We've got to let
anybody.
them make sure that they've been looked at, but
Be fixed in place. It looked
They
like
can't
to me
be
that it'd
fixed.
taken
No, it
out,
wouldn't be
but-
fixed either, but,
Put
but
back, you know, if
can
you're
you
gonna
go
use-
back with
or
something
put
maybe out of
different.
fiberglass or
Yeah.
some kind of a
'Cause they're just
resin type
decorative.
material?
I mean, that's what we're gonna have to look at. I know there's a lot of different products out there now, that are not so heavy. I know the new, City Hall, they have aluminum on theirs, they're metal, painted metal, so, I guess we just need to maybe get bids to, you think we could just,
Do we have to have the mason come in and look as well, or just having Codell look at them, is that enough?
I think the
we probably need, we
subcontractor
probably
ought
need
to come
an
look at it
independent
too.
person, somebody look at it and say that somebody blew it.
well,
Only has to be ever all
Yeah.
the contractors involved.
Ultimately, shouldn't Codell Construction, who was construction manager, be responsible, I would think?
Yes, but everybody involved may want to have the opportunity to be.
The manager of this particular building is no longer employed at Codell, I will tell you that.
I don't care
David
about the
Jenkins
manager,
is no longer
I care
here,
about the company.
no longer there. So,
Is Jack Codell still there?
I'm like Lisa, they need the subcontractor and contractor and
Yeah, like I say, when that
project
was,
manager and all of them look at it.
I guess contact Codell again and see who they want to have look at it, other than theirself. And then we can actually have somebody come in and look.
well, I'm sure that they think we want something done, and we won't be contacting them, but need to impress upon them, we would like something done to this mess.
well, I've had two different people look at the blueprints and the way they were installed. They don't have an expansion joint. I'm not a builder by any means, but two different engineers told me the same thing, that they were not.
Expansion joint, so they
They
freezing.
were, if you'll notice when you go out, if you look at them, they're set directly on top of the concrete, on top of the, typically when they're installed, they're supposed to be poured around an expansion joint around them. They're not like that. They're sitting on top of, and that was both engineers looked at that, and one's a local guy. I won't say who it is, but he's seen the same thing. The pier inside of those, the structure inside of those is a 3-foot column, and the bottom of those bases are 4 foot. So it doesn't even, and there's a void at the top. Keith's seen the pictures. I've got pictures on my phone, matter of fact. There's a void at the top of about every single post. When you look outside of those, there's on the front, they're sticking out, and they're not covered up. They're supposed to have a flashing or a cap on them, is what the blueprints called for. None of those were put on the building. None
Something to
of
keep
them
any
were
kind of moisture in there.
Exactly. Nothing
Should
was
be
put
enough
on.
right there to be able to go back on.
Yeah, they
I think
should be-
Kevin can even verify, he's seen them shake himself whenever they were up there up there looking at them, so.
Need to come look at them quickly, because they could be liable for somebody's life.
Well, and I know, even the right corner of the building, we got a stone over there that's, actually, you can look at it from a distance and see it's cocked over.
You know when they did this foundation, that corner blew out? They had to fix it.
Is that right? I mean, something,
Concrete blew out. I was fortunate to have a meeting with them one day. When I thought about it, of course, didn't mean nothing. I said, I wouldn't put silence in a place look like that.
well, the last same rain at the Judicial Center leaked every window in this building. Keith can verify, every single window in this building bubbled in those seams, every window. Downstairs in Chad's office, in the deed room, there's discoloration on the walls.
It sounded like our construction manager wasn't managing too much.
Well, I'm just saying, we got a lot to fix, and I mean, I'm not trying to scare anybody, but it's not this is gonna be a bigger problem than I ever dreamed it would be, to be honest with you. It's gonna take a lot to fix.
Ward, Judge.
A couple of the windows in my office, for a long time, we had problems anytime it rained. Especially if we had significant rain at all, they leaked pretty bad, even around the exit door at the back of the office. When Mike Short was maintenance, he come in and finally got them sealed to where they don't leak as bad now, but still occasionally we'll have that. And then there was other times that you would sit near a window and you could feel the air coming through some cracks somewhere.
Well, that's,
Whatever you decide to do on those columns out front, especially if it gets the south and the west weather, you need to do it before winter, because I'm not sure that those columns, some of them will go through another winter, with the freezing and thawing, because there are actually cracks in the base of that one column, you can put your hand in it. And they're not natural stone mason cracks where they mortared it, that's where the columns crack. it needs to be done before the winter. Either take them down, expose, because you've got 4 by 4, 6 by 6 steel posts going up through the middle of the columns. But when those columns were laid in 2 pieces, and I remember when they did it, I took pictures of them when they built this building. Unlike putting brick ties inside of a house, nothing was put into the columns to tie the,
To hold it in place.
there's nothing, they're just freestanding, if they're cracked, they're going to fall off.
Can we
Need to do
ask,
something for winter, because it won't go through another winter.
can we ask for representatives from Caldwell
Well, like
and
I
each
say-
construction company that worked under them that be here for the next meeting?
I mean, we can do that.
I know it's going to be costly, to make a hard structural engineer, inspect those, write a report on the ad. You have to go forward with any kind of legal issue.
Should I, that's,
You would need a licensed structural engineer to
Look at them.
write a report. Run out the faults.
Especially like what was not used on it, the expansion joints, the flashing and.
Action against Caldwell or whoever, then you might have a legal, I'm just throwing that out there.
We'll
I just
see.
know it's a safety concern, that's why we were aware after they found the problem, and we just, but it's gonna be back here as well. I did call the fire marshal, I called, Ricky at the fire department, he says, you can block those doors as long as you can go out, so we're okay there, but,
So is the steel post that's inside, is it connected
Yeah.
at the top?
That supports.
Yeah, that's what holds it up.
The posts themselves are freestanding around that.
They're just decorative, right?
But it's stable.
yeah, it's on the pier.
Columns are just cosmetic.
They are.
Whenever Codell, when we built this building, we had a bunch of construction managers come down and do a slideshow or whatever about all the buildings they had, how good they looked. So we need to tell Codell if he wants us to give him a good, that we'll show him our building if he wants us to.
Well, they're gonna blame it on the architect, then the architect's gonna blame it on the mason, then it's gonna go, it's gonna be a snowball, so I mean,
You talking about the retirement system, or are you talking about the building?
I mean, you're gonna have to know what it takes to remedy the situation.
but in the meantime, since it is a safety issue, I think we need to remove them from the building, especially the front.
Have the
But I
structural
mean-
engineer look at them first, and then do that.
Engineering and look at your safety issues.
and then take them.
Look and say something's done wrong, because they ain't gonna take our word.
I guess until then, you put some.
Which it's gonna cost
Strap
something to do
around
that,
it.
so I guess that's what I need a motion today to hire an independent structural engineer.
Motion.
Motion, I don't know what it's gonna cost, we'll find out, I guess.
Get hold of my engineer and see if they can, maybe they know something. I mean, I'm just guessing that's, the top engineer, you had to have the instruction, engineer to look at that, I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there.
No,
I
it's
was
not a
thinking
bad,
to-
it's not a
to,
bad idea.
But like Steve said, they're not gonna take
Our
your
word,
word or anybody else's word,
if we're not.
probably.
I was thinking,
I
you
don't
know,
that they would take their
for
word.
now, if the issues are coming apart, you put a, if you didn't want to take them down till they come, put a strap around them to.
That's how Larry Smith looked at it, and he said that's the only way you can take them down would be to ratchet every one of them and then just come down piece by piece.
But you
Oh,
could
the
then
only-
hold them in place till somebody looked at, you know, without them falling off.
You're talking about just banding.
Banding them for now.
Ban them somewhere in there.
That way they can't separate, you know,
As
that,
far as the structural engineer goes, when I call the Department of Transportation, they've got a lot of people who work for those folks, they're state employees, bridge people, who possibly come for no money and look at it, give us an opinion.
Well, I knew that they weren't weight bearing, but I thought they would be attached to the post in the middle somewhere, something to hold them.
They're not attached to anything. They're sitting on top of each other, bottom up, and you can take them and
No, they weren't mortared at the top, but the mortar at the top's kind of loose.
You can actually probably look out right there and see that that there's got a little gap too.
It rains down through the column.
Yeah, that won't work.
Froze and busted, didn't it?
Did they have problems in putting them up? Did they start putting them up and have to stop, take them down?
They did.
A
Yep,
lot of them was wrong, they didn't match up right.
they had to reorder a bunch of them.
I'll tell you another issue with those columns too. Those columns are a precast column out of Texas sandstone, made in Texas, in a temperate climate. I mean, you be the judge. You know, they're southern columns in a northern climate.
Other issues is the mortar around the windows. If you'll look at those also, it's coming out. They should have used a different material. They should have used a caulking of some sort rather than a direct mortar, because they're going to expand and contract. They have to,
Yeah, well,
but
yeah.
they didn't. If you'll look around the building, I mean, again, I'm not a mason or anything, but I know it's falling out. Anybody can see it's falling out, so it's not done properly, so.
Same design, just farmers, branch back, they had the same problem. They're the same thing on smaller scale.
Exactly.
They had the same issue, the same thing.
Buddy,
Voted
No, we haven't voted.
motion to get an engineer to, look at these columns.
All right.
Mr. Quayle.
Yes.
Mr. Bishop. Yes. Mr. Mason.
Yes.
Mr. Wicker.
Yes.